Nation, Gabe,
Jodi,
Nick,
and we are here today to bring you guys another reaction. That's right, Nick. Let everybody know what we're reacting to.
So we are checking out a little bit of test here. This is the first tie test. We've heard about ties in Test cricket. I think there's only been 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think they both involve Australia, and this is the first one, Australia versus
my West Indies.
1960. Now, don't forget, 1970s, 1980s, and part of the 1990s West Indies, no one wanted to even think about it. But I think this is before the Four Horsemen, all that kind of stuff. But a tie, right? I mean, what's the famous saying? Like, a tie is like kissing your sister, right? No. I don't have my sister here. I have my wife, so it's kind of a different situation.
I have no problem with ties.
I was going to ask, as a non-sports fan, what is your feeling about ties?
No, they're fine. They're both good teams. They couldn't beat each other.
Oh, it's a happy ending.
It is. Everybody wins. Win-win.
Gabe, will you teach her how the way things are?
You know what? I absolutely hate ties. I do. And you know, it's funny. I was talking to Savannah after one of the videos where we had a discussion on ties, and she's like, "Babe, I'm just curious. You hate ties and draws in cricket as well, but aren't there ties or draws in boxing? Which is you lived and breathed this sport for such a long time." I was like, "Yeah, and everybody hates draws. You know what I mean? Fighters hate draws. Give me, you know what I mean? But they're a part of sports because sometimes teams are equally matched, to Jodi's point, but I think the idea is to always have a victor. Okay, you always want somebody coming out on top, because if you just tie, it's almost like the game didn't happen. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
Earlier on.
That's just my opinion. And one of the things I used to love were it was in baseball, where they didn't have, obviously there's no ties in baseball, but they had extra innings, and you can go and sit down for literally an entire other baseball game. And I always thought about it like, sweet, 2 games for the price of 1. You know what I mean? Savannah would be like, oh, for the love of Christ.
Yes, I can't handle
you know what I mean?
We did a 12-inning game. She almost killed me.
Oh,
no.
Dude, I did like a 16-inning game.
No. 9 innings is ridiculous.
Bonus
cut
baseball.
It at 4. Cut it at 4.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, cut it at 4.
Yeah.
That's like little league stuff. High schoolers play 7 innings.
Is it the other way? Is it any worse than putting a guy at second base to start extra innings? I hate
that rule. That's what I'm saying. They ruined it, and now, yes, the games now tend to end by the 10th or 11th, because with that extra man on base, it's really easy to, get him over and usually score him.
One hit, you win.
One hit and you win, exactly, and that was kind of the idea, but it's frustrating. I used to love the marathon games, man. You know what I mean, dude? I remember one time staying up for a Yankee game, and it was on the West Coast, 22-inning games. Now, mind you, on the East Coast, we're 3 hours ahead, so it's like midnight, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm watching this game, like, oh, gosh, I got school in the morning. Okay, school can wait. Shh, kiddos, I'm not telling you to do this. School can wait. You know what I mean, dude? Staying up. That's where the legend of the Night Watchman began.
It's out of control.
22-inning game!
The Night Watchman was born in baseball. So we're going to check this out. Hold on. We're going to check that. She's like, come on. We're on a time limit here. We're going to check this out. But I just want to say one last thing. In Test cricket, you have your draws, you have your ties. Before I became a cricket fan, I would have said that's the same thing, isn't it? Not even close. You can earn a draw. A draw can be exciting. We've seen that in the past. But a tie, you're right. Especially in Test, 5 days and we have no result. Yeah. But that's also incredible. To her point, 5 days and these teams are so evenly matched that they literally were at the same exact level. There's no other sport that has that many opportunities to go ahead than Test cricket. So we're going to check this out. It says West Hall remembers. Whoever that is, West Hall, how you doing? Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And West Hall, if you know the guy. I have no idea. Maybe it's just like a room. But let's go ahead and check this out. Black and white action.
The 1960 Brisbane Test between Australia and the West Indies was the first of only 2 Test matches ever to be tied. Jonathan Agnew asked the current West Indies manager Wes Hall to bowl that epic final over with his memories of the historic finish.
I won't age you too much, but I was born in the year of the tie test because I've seen that last over so many times on television. And you too, it must be so fresh in your mind still.
Yeah, the tie test was really the beginning of an era. The West Indies had won England in 1960. They were branded as individual good cricketers. They were not a cohesive force at all. It was quite well he molded us into that team. And to be fair, I think that Rishi Benoit was equally good. They were two aggressive captains, and I think that they brought the best out of the team. That test match, the third test was really something, in my opinion, I think it was one of the best cricket matches ever played.
And so to the last over but one, 7 minutes, 7 runs needed. Benoit going for yet another quick single, and Davidson is gone out.
Run out? It's hard to hear the audio and understand what they're saying.
Only 3 wickets left, only 6 minutes, and 7 runs still wanted. The number 9 batsman, Wally Grout, squeezing out a run to deep mid-on, so it's 6 to win. Sobers to Benoit, who wants to farm the strike. He can't get down the other end to face Hall. And now, the very last over of the match.
It's crazy to see this kind of quality of recording.
Oh, it's right there.
One more run.
The bowler was not interested at all in getting
No. No. It's right there.
that. My job to bowl, not the field.
Benoit hooking, and he's caught behind by Alexander. Benoit out for 52.
Got him.
Is that an edge?
Mm-hmm.
6 balls left, 5 wanted, 2 wickets in hand, and no run for Mackie.
There you go.
5 runs needed off 5 balls. Well, he didn't get a touch, but Rogers running to advise him to keep on the missing, and
Oh, you could have walked it over there. You had plenty of time.
4 runs wanted.
Wow.
4 balls. It must be a catch-up on the mid-side. Hall goes right, can I play for it too? What a chance
He dropped it? Drop!
3 balls
He
to
just
go.
dropped his
2
test
runs
match.
needed.
But feeling the pressure.
To make it.
He's going to drop the ashes.
It could be 6. And it's cut off by Conrad Hunt. He's going to cut it off. 1 run. The second run brings the scores level. The next one will win the match. Hunt throw is coming back.
Oh, he got him.
Run out.
He went all out.
Wonderful return.
Man, they are losing serious wickets.
I think they got one more ball left, right?
In 3 hours, I was pretty tired at that time, and Frank Warren was a great captain. He would come up every ball and tell you something, sometimes funny, sometimes not so funny. And I remember the last ball I bowled, he said to me, well, remember if you bowl no ball, you'll never be able to go back to Barbados, which was true. So I had to put a good yard behind the crease,
What in the run-out is going on here?
You gotta go for it, right? Regardless.
Truly the most sensational finish of all time.
No, you're right. You do got to go
Pictures
for
that
it.
we see now, but how far was that run out? Was he comfortably out? Did you know at the time he was out?
Yes, yeah, we knew that he was out, and it was just that Joe Solomon had one stump, to have a go at, and then having
Yeah, nowadays they'd be like-
the ball, well,
Every time.
They can't tell if it's a run out or not.
Bullseye. So I think that was the spectacular thing about it, that everybody was so caught up in it that perhaps even the umpire only gave him out he was probably a foot off the ground. So everybody was very ecstatic about it.
All right, so the quality of the audio, wasn't the best, but that was still pretty cool to see the footage there of that last over plus of that match. I mean, there's been 2 ties, like I said, in the history of tests. What is the likelihood that we're going to have another one, especially with technology that we have nowadays to check every last thing, especially those last 6 balls? I mean, what's the chance that there's ever going to be a tie again?
That's a good question. That's honestly a really good question. I think the thing is, it's really tough because you've got, like you said, those 5 days. You know what I mean? I was actually fearing that the WTC Championship would end in a tie or a draw because you just want one side to win or the other. But with that being said, it's really, really hard for ties to happen because a draw just means, listen, we're out of time. You know what I mean? A tie means, listen, we played out the full amount of time, and you bowled us out, or you got all 10 wickets, and we ended up on our innings getting all 10
same
wickets.
exact score after 2 full innings?
That's so tough to do, you know what I mean? And, towards the end, that guy knew he was out, but you're just hoping that there's a fumble, somebody drops the ball, because I got to run. You need to run in order to win any which way. If not, we're tied and we're just left in the same situation. And I know that's Nick's favorite thing in the run out. Him and Rahani. Oh man, little drive by there, little Rahani drive by there.
Can't run, but I mean, I don't know. You said something there that really struck a chord with me. The same exact score on both sides, and you get the result after 5 days. That's so crazy. But if there's betting in cricket, because there's betting in every other sport here in America, right? You know there's got to be some guy who every single test match, he's doing like the 100-to-1 odds for a tie. Because you know, eventually, we're going to win it, baby. We're going to win the big money. Like, are you that guy who's always betting for the tie? Because those odds have got to be astronomical.
Bro, you know what's funny? I was just listening to on the radio. The Yankees were 89, almost 90% at the beginning of the season to go to the World Series. Now they're 9%. 9. They went from 89 to 9%.
Start betting, ladies and gentlemen.
It is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And the odds change. You see that in cricket all the time. When we're watching tests, probability of winning for this team and whatnot, it changes, almost per over, really, sometimes. But, sometimes sports, the good thing about sports, and that's why we hate cheating and we hate any type of anything that calls the integrity of the sport into it, is you don't know. If we already knew it, then it's basically entertainment. It's like WWE. It's a wrestling match. It's an exhibition. If we already knew the outcome, but you don't know the outcome, and I think that's the excitement for people.
What do you think about a tie? What do you think about watching 1960?
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I like their outfits.
That's crazy footage. That's
Just
61
watching
years.
The bowler shirt seemed like a little bit looser. Sorry, I just whacked you. Seemed a little looser than what they wear now. A little more casual. I enjoyed their clothing.
She enjoyed the clothing.
But I'm fine with the tie. To me, it means that both teams were, like you said, they were evenly matched. And sometimes, especially I feel like as a teacher with students, sometimes you have those students that are so competitive and they want to be the best of the best. But sometimes the only way to have the high scores is to do all that extra credit. So they're just doing the extra work. But really, when it comes down to it, they were just both good.
Right.
Okay, so what if your child was on one of those teams? Would you still be okay with the tie?
It was another good team. Yeah, you guys went against each other. I'm sorry, after 5 days, if there's not a winner,
exactly,
they're
5 days.
evenly matched.
You took a week off work. You convinced the wife for months, let me go. And you come, how was the match? I don't know. There's still not a decision. But I thought it was over.
They are.
It is.
They are the two best teams that time. They both won.
The only people in the history of the world that were rooting for a tie are like the Manning's parents when they had to play against each other. That's the only people that root for a tie.
Dude, it's crazy.
Besides Jodi.
Think about this.
No problem with it.
This is why a tie suck. And I'll tell you right now. Everybody remembers what year. Nick's Mr. Stat Guy. He could tell you how many championships, his Lakers have, how many, my Yankees have, and on any sport. But he can't remember who lost to them or who they beat to win that World Series. That's why, you know what I mean? You win. Who lost? Oh, man.
Well, not every sport, but I'll tell you the World Series in baseball, the last 30 years or so.
1994 World Series in baseball.
There wasn't a World Series in 94. There was a strike year.
That's a strike year.
Oh, gosh, 95. What are the odds?
95 it was the Braves, and it was not the Yankees. It was the Indians.
Braves and Indians.
Braves beat the Indians.
Yeah.
For their only championship.
Yeah, but it's okay. Most people can't tell you who lost because if you go there and you lose, you're just a loser. You know what I mean? That's why winning outright matters. Because
so at the tie, there's no loser.
She likes the idea.
It's the millennial thought of everybody wins. And I hate that thought. I hate the thought of everybody wins, everybody's happy, everybody gets a trophy, because that's not life. Right. That is not how it is in the real world. That is not how it is at work. So I do hate that mentality. But in this, I feel like both teams work so hard. And to be that losing team sucks. Because you don't think I'm the second best. Right. You just think we lost. Nobody thinks of you beat all these previous teams to get there. You are the second best. Nope, you lost. As you said, the loser. So this way, hey, they're the two best.
I will say, I think Test cricket does change a lot of rules. Again, with the draw, I would not have been a big fan of it before. I love draws now, especially depending on the circumstances. But look at how the West Indies players celebrated at that tie. Because why? Because they stopped a loss from happening.
Yep.
A loss was one run away from happening on their watch, and they stopped that from happening. In the NFL, no one likes to tie, but at the end of the season, when you talk about playoffs and win-loss record and the percentage, that tie saves you. It happens every single time. Yeah, it always saves them every single time. So you got a point there. I like how they celebrated. They were able to prevent that loss. I don't know how good Australia was in the 1960s, but it seems like they're good every decade for crying out loud.
Right.
And let's just end on that beautiful high note. There are no losses. There are two awesome teams. The West Indies celebrated, preventing that loss.
My West Indies!
They rocked it. Woo woo! And with that,
holding court, cousin!
goodbye.
Adios.